Now, before we jump into actually animating in Blender, I want to tell you about the 12 golden principles of animation, which were developed by Disney animators, and they are still something that we use even till this day. And I think we're going to use it till the end of the days in terms of animation, because back then in the Disney era, they were experimenting with different movements, different styles, but they determined that these 12 principles of animation, when applied, they create a very, very cool animation and very, very good illusion of life. So the 12 principles of animation are squash and stretch, which means squashing and stretching an object or a character slightly to give an illusion of depth, illusion of flexibility, illusion of weight. Then we have anticipation, which means that we show an audience a character is going to do something. Instead of punching right away, the character is going to go back, wind up, and show the character that he's about to punch, and then he's going to punch. That's called anticipation. That's a very cool way to let the audience know what your character is going to do. Then you have exaggeration. So animation doesn't have to be realistic. It has to be believable. There's a difference. Realistic movements are realistic because they are realistic. We see them in movies, we see them in other stuff. But animation is its own art form. So for example, if a character winds up for a punch, it can turn back. But if you want to show this inside animation, you can exaggerate the pose and turn the character back even more, make it lean back even more, raise the hand even more, and so on. I hope you get the idea. That's what exaggeration is. If you exaggerate the movement, sometimes you're going to get good results, but make sure to not over exaggerate and not exaggerate things too much. Then we have follow through and overlapping action, which is used for hats or tails or any other stuff. So when the character stops moving, some parts of the character might still be moving. For example, if a character jumps down with the cape, character might stop, but the cape might still be flapping and moving for a few seconds. Then the next principle is arcs. So usually we humans or any other animals or any other living creature move in arcs. We don't move in linear fashion. If something moves in line, it's considered to be robotic or mechanical. But we humans usually create arcs with our movements. So if we move our hands, if we dance, if we walk, we usually create some sort of arc, some sort of twisted lines. So make sure when you're posing your characters, they have some sort of arc to follow, and make sure they don't go in a straight line, because if they do, they're going to look very robotic and unnatural. Then we have appeal. Appeal basically means creating a character which looks unique, which looks good, which looks recognizable. For example, if you look at all Disney animations, they are all different and unique, and they have an appeal, which is one of the very important aspects of animation. In terms of Minecraft, we have a luxury to make skins and quickly apply them to the characters. But in Minecraft, if I make an animation about Alex and Steve, it already gives its own appeal, because Steve and Alex are recognizable, they are appealing to the audience, and they are recognizable. So that's what appeal means in terms of animation. Then we have solid drawing, which means drawing in a way where you understand perspective, understand space. So drawing in a way which gives a sense of space inside the scene. But we don't really need to do that because we are 3D artists. We don't have to learn how to draw, although it's good if you learn how to draw, but we don't have to. And we also have free resources and free rigs which we can download online, and we don't have to draw anything and model anything from scratch in terms of Minecraft animations. So solid drawing can be ignored in terms of this case, but it's still a good way to learn about the balance, learn about the weight, perspective, space, and so on. Then you have slow in and slow out, which is basically what I already showed you. Slow in and slow out is basically the Bezier keyframe curve. So the motion starts slow, then it speeds up in the middle, and then slows down. And that's considered to be a very natural movement. Back then it was called slow in and slow out. Then it was called ease in and ease out. And now in Blender we can call it ease in and ease out as well, but we usually like to call this the Bezier keyframe curve. Then you have straight ahead and pose to pose. So straight ahead means drawing each frame sequentially. So you draw frame 1, then you draw frame 2, frame 3, frame 4. But that's a method that 2D animators use, and they don't use it all the time because it's a pretty hard method, and they use it in different scenarios. Then you have pose to pose, which actually we can use in terms of 3D. So pose to pose workflow means creating different poses. For example, on frame 0, you have a character standing in an idle position. Then you jump on frame 12, you make the character lean down, and then you jump on frame 24, and then you make your character go up or cheer up or move your hand out. So by creating 3 golden poses, you already get the idea of what your animation looks like. Your character kneels down and then cheers. And after your golden poses, your key poses, you want to add the breakdown poses, you want to add the in-between poses, and then we're going to discuss those later. But that's the idea of pose to pose. Then we have staging. So staging basically refers to setting a stage, setting an environment which your audience understands. So if a viewer watches your animation, they should know what this object is, what this object is doing, what it's placed at in relation to other objects, or what it's placed in relation to other objects. In terms of character, they should understand where the character is coming from, where he's going, what he's doing, at what time. So if you do a bunch of stuff together, for example, you move 10 objects and 2 characters at the same time, the audience is going to be confused. So make sure you give each object and each character its own place and its own time. Then we have timing. Timing is basically what it tells you, at what time the animation happens. Timing is very, very important to get the right movement. So make sure you first choose the correct FPS in Blender and make sure you time your animations correctly. Your animation should not be too fast or too slow. They should be believable and they should be understandable. And then we have secondary action. So secondary action is something that your character does after the main action. For example, your character might be walking, but also looking around and moving the head. Your character might throw a punch, stay back, and then might bob its head or shake its head or do something else with it, right? So that's the secondary action. The secondary action supports the main action, and that's a very great way to create more natural and appealing animation and the look.